The Philippines stands at a pivotal crossroads, its future hanging in the balance as the world watches closely. The choices made in the coming months could redefine not only the nation's destiny, but also the dynamics of the entire Asia-Pacific region. A landmark agreement with China, just signed after months of negotiation, promises to reshape the nation's future in ways both seen and unseen. The deal is being hailed by some as a turning point, a bold leap into a new era of opportunity and growth. But this isn't just another trade deal, it's a dramatic shift in foreign policy, signaling a move away from the country's long-standing alliance with the United States. For decades, the US has been the Philippines' closest partner, but now the winds of change are blowing. The decision has sent shockwaves across the globe, forcing world leaders and analysts to reassess Asia's delicate balance of power. Allies and rivals alike are recalibrating their strategies, uncertain of what this new partnership will bring. For ordinary Filipinos, it's a high-stakes gamble, one that offers the promise of progress, prosperity, and modernization, but also carries the risk of economic dependency and political vulnerability. The government touts ambitious plans, new infrastructure projects, thousands of jobs, and greater energy security. Officials call it a pragmatic step, a necessary move to ensure national development and keep pace with neighboring economies. But critics warn of hidden costs, loss of sovereignty, the erosion of national identity, and the risk of falling under China's growing influence, especially with tensions simmering in the South China Sea. Protests have erupted, and concerns over territorial integrity remain unresolved. This isn't just about economics, it's about who the Philippines is, and who it wants to become. Issues of identity, security, and the nation's future are now at the forefront of public debate. As debates rage from Manila's bustling coffee shops to the highest halls of government, uncertainty lingers. The ink on the agreement is barely dry, but the implications are already profound, sparking passionate discussions across the country. The choices made now will determine whether the Philippines rises as a true regional leader, charting its own course, or becomes entangled in a web of dependency and external pressure that could shape its fate for generations. The nation stands at a crossroads, its people facing a future filled with both promise and peril. As Asia's future hangs in the balance, the world waits to see which path the Philippines will choose. What's really in the deal between China and the Philippines? Let's break it down. At its core, the agreement promises billions of dollars in Chinese investment, targeting the Philippines' most urgent needs, massive upgrades to infrastructure. We're talking about new railways snaking across islands, state-of-the-art bridges connecting communities, and the construction of modern ports and airports designed to handle the demands of a growing economy. All of this falls under China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, a global strategy aiming to modernize the archipelago and supercharge trade routes. The vision is to transform the Philippines into a key hub for commerce, linking Asia to the rest of the world. Energy is another major pillar. The deal includes joint ventures for oil and gas exploration, the construction of new power plants, and a significant push for renewable energy sources like solar and wind. These projects are designed to stabilize the country's power supply, reduce blackouts, and support long-term economic growth. Beyond economics, the agreement deepens diplomatic ties. There's a strong emphasis on cultural exchanges, educational programs, and frequent high-level talks. This signals a future where Beijing could gradually eclipse Washington as Manila's main international partner, shifting the balance of influence in the region. For everyday Filipinos, the deal opens the vast Chinese market to local farmers and fishermen. With more favorable trade terms, they can export rice, seafood, and other goods, potentially boosting incomes and creating new jobs almost immediately. However, the security provisions in the agreement remain vague and somewhat ambiguous. This uncertainty has raised concerns among the Philippines' traditional allies, who worry about the long-term implications for regional stability and sovereignty. In essence, China is offering a comprehensive vision: deep economic interdependence, closer political ties, and the promise of a new era in Philippines-China relations, one that could reshape the country's future. Yet, it's a powerful and alluring proposition that comes with its share of controversy. Critics question the true cost of such dependence and the potential risks involved. The stakes are incredibly high, and as the world watches closely, the outcome of this grand bargain could redefine alliances and power dynamics across Southeast Asia. If the agreement delivers, daily life in the Philippines could be transformed. Modern railways and bridges would cut travel times, connect remote islands, and open new opportunities for business and tourism. Massive construction projects promise thousands of jobs with hopes of long-term investment and a more competitive economy. Reliable, affordable energy could finally end chronic power outages, making the country more attractive to industry. But concerns linger. Will Filipino workers truly benefit, or will foreign labor dominate? Will the infrastructure be built to last? The dream is a modern, prosperous Philippines, but its success depends on careful planning, oversight, and ensuring benefits reach all. The promise is real, but so are the challenges. The nation's future hinges on how these projects are managed. The world is watching Manila's pivot to China with keen interest and concern. For the United States, this is a blow to decades of strategic partnership and a challenge to its influence in Asia. Japan and Australia, both major investors and security partners, worry about shifting alliances and regional stability. Some ASEAN neighbors see opportunity, while others fear division in the face of China's assertiveness. The Philippines is now a test case. Can a smaller nation benefit from China's rise without losing its autonomy? The outcome will shape not just Philippine policy but the future of alliances and the balance of power in Asia. The stakes are regional and global. The world is watching to see if Manila's gamble pays off. The lessons learned here will echo far beyond the archipelago. No discussion of this deal is complete without the South China Sea. The Philippines' sovereignty and economic survival are at stake in these contested waters, rich in resources but fraught with tension. Despite a 2016 legal victory at The Hague, China continues to assert its claims, building islands and harassing Filipino fishermen. Critics fear the New Deal trades away hard-won legal rights for economic promises, with vague language on joint development masking deeper risks. The worry economic dependence could silence Manila's protests and legitimize Beijing's claims. The government hopes cooperation will bring peace and prosperity, but trust is fragile. The South China Sea remains the biggest obstacle to a stable, trusting partnership. The stakes: sovereignty, security, and the nation's future. The rewards are clear, rapid economic growth, modern infrastructure, new jobs, and a shot at reducing poverty. Rural areas could finally see development, and farmers and fishermen may gain access to China's vast market. But the risks are just as stark. Massive loans from China could lead to unsustainable debt, what critics call debt trap diplomacy. If the Philippines can't repay, it could lose control of strategic assets and face a loss of economic sovereignty. Political independence is also at risk. Economic reliance on China could translate into pressure to align with Beijing's interests. The ultimate fear: trading away the nation's voice and autonomy for short-term gains. The deal is a double-edged sword. Its outcome depends on how skillfully the Philippines manages both the opportunities and the dangers. The nation must tread carefully. The future hangs in the balance. Across the Philippines, reactions to the China deal are deeply mixed. In bustling cities and quiet provinces alike, conversations are filled with both anticipation and anxiety. The news dominates headlines, and every Filipino seems to have an opinion, some hopeful, others wary. Young professionals and entrepreneurs see hope: better infrastructure, more jobs, and a modern economy. They imagine a future where world-class trains, roads, and digital networks connect the islands, making business easier and daily life more convenient. For them, the deal could be a ticket to global competitiveness and prosperity. In rural areas, farmers and small business owners dream of stable incomes and reliable power. They hope that new investments will bring irrigation, electricity, and better access to markets. For many, these changes could mean the difference between poverty and progress, between uncertainty and a brighter tomorrow. For many, the promise of progress outweighs distant geopolitical risks. The idea of a transformed nation, where families thrive and children have more opportunities, is a powerful motivator. Optimism grows as new projects break ground and the skyline evolves. But nationalism and suspicion run deep, especially among veterans, activists, and those who remember the 2016 Hague ruling. They recall past struggles for independence and worry that economic gains might come at the cost of sovereignty. Their voices remind the nation to tread carefully. Fishermen on the front lines of the South China Sea dispute fear for their livelihoods and dignity. Every day, they face uncertainty as they venture into contested waters, unsure if they'll return safely or be turned away. For them, the stakes are personal and immediate. The debate rages online and in the media, reflecting a nation torn between hope for a better life and fear of losing hard-won independence. Social media platforms buzz with passionate arguments, while newsrooms dissect every development, amplifying both optimism and concern. Hashtags trend both for and against the deal, as glossy project renderings clash with images of maritime standoffs. The digital world becomes a battleground for hearts and minds, with every new image or headline fueling the national conversation. This is more than economics, it's about pride, history, and trust. Every handshake and every protest echoes the nation's long struggle for dignity and self-determination. The hopes of millions are pinned on the promise of change. Parents dream of a better future for their children, and young people look forward to new opportunities. The air is thick with expectation, but the fear of losing sovereignty is never far behind. Every new agreement is weighed against the memory of past sacrifices and the desire to protect what makes the Philippines unique. The nation's soul is at stake. In every debate, every hope, and every fear, the Filipino spirit endures, resilient, proud, and ever watchful of its future. To succeed, the Philippines must walk a tightrope. Transparency is critical. Filipinos deserve to know the full terms of every agreement. Hidden clauses or secret deals will only breed suspicion and undermine trust. The government must ensure rigorous oversight, anti-corruption measures, and prioritize Filipino workers and environmental standards. Diversifying foreign relations is essential. Relying too heavily on China or any single partner is risky. Maintaining strong ties with the US, Japan, Australia, and others provides a safety net. The real work begins with implementation quality projects, fair labor, and benefits for all. The government must assert its rights in the West Philippine Sea, even while cooperating economically. It's a delicate balancing act, demanding skillful negotiation and unwavering commitment to national interests. The goal: harness China's economic power without losing sovereignty. There's no room for error. The Philippines' deal with China is a defining moment, one that will shape the nation for generations. The world is watching as the country navigates between opportunity and peril. This pivot is a symbol of the shifting global order and the tough choices facing smaller nations. The outcome will offer lessons for countries worldwide grappling with China's rise. For Filipinos, it's a moment of national reflection. Prosperity versus pride, progress versus sovereignty. The people's voice and vigilance will be crucial in steering the nation's course. The journey has begun, and the stakes could not be higher. The next chapter of the Philippines is being written now, with the world watching.